Hey, my Lipton. So I wanted to come in here with another video because I had to talk about this. It's been a minute since I did like a MCU Marvel movie, criticism, whatever. Because I feel like lately I've been giving a lot of criticisms about Marvel and the bullshit that they've been producing for the past, I would say, year now. Like definitely post Endgame. It's been ups and downs with Marvel, and I spoke about it ad nauseum. If you guys want to go hear my thoughts about it, go to my Marvel playlist. You guys will see the videos that are up there. So I want to talk about Chris Hemsworth. I want to talk about Chris Hemsworth. Listen, Chris Hemsworth got some things off his chest today. Okay, if y'all don't know, I love me some Chris Hemsworth. I think he's a very handsome man, one of my crushes. Like, and he looks good in this GQ cover. Okay, stop playing with him. He looks good. He looks amazing. That's my boo. So I wanted to discuss he had a few comments about, the state of the MCU, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino. He had a few things to say. And I was actually, and honestly, I'm going to get to my thoughts at the end of this because I do want to read the article because it's from GQ, but Variety has like some of his quotes here. So it says here, Chris Hemsworth admits Thor 4 was too silly, calls Scorsese and Tarantino's Marvel criticism super depressing, and says, I guess they're not a fan of me. Okay? So let's get into it, and I'm going to get to my own thoughts at the end of this video. So it says here, Marvel's Thor Love and Thunder, oh my god, Marvel's Thor Love and Thunder box office hit with 760 million worldwide, but a lot of Marvel fans were turned off by the writer director Taika Waititi's silly humor and the film's unappealing visual effects. Thor actor himself, Chris Hemsworth, is aware of the negativity around his fourth Thor movie and even admitted in a new GQ magazine profile that Love and Thunder was too silly, okay, for its own good. I think we just had, and this Chris Hemsworth's like own words, I think we just had too much fun. It just became too silly, Chris Hemsworth said about the movie. It was always hard being in the center of it and having any real perspective. I love the process. It's always a ride, but you just don't know how people are going to respond. Okay, and we responded all right, me included. Hemsworth said his biggest critics were his son's friends. Okay, a bunch of eight-year olds critiquing my film. We thought this one had too much humor. The action was cool, but the VFX weren't as good. He said, I cringe and laugh equally at it. Hemsworth also starred in a total of 8 Marvel movies, and just because Thor Love and Thunder was too silly doesn't mean he's against doing more. And as you shouldn't. Listen, we need you. The actor currently is not contracted for any more Marvel films. He really wants to do some other stuff for a while, but he'll return if it's a creatively rich opportunity. I love the experience, Hemsworth said. I love the fact that I've been able to finally, I've been able to do something fairly different throughout the process. Thor 1, Thor 2, those are my two favorite ones, were their own thing. Thor 3 and 4 was different, was a very different feel. And then even the Avengers, such and such. So it says here, Marvel has had a rocky track record as of late. While Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was a box office hit and earned Angela Bassett an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress, which she should have won. Oh my god, I'm so mad at y'all for that shit. Oscars, yeah, ain't shit for that. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium and some of the MCU's worst reviews and cratered at the box office with 476 million. That number is all the more troublesome considering Quantumania was the kickoff for the MCU's next phase and marked the introduction of its Thanos-sized new villain, King the Conqueror. Y'all gonna have some trouble with that, with the whole Jonathan Majors thing. Yeah. So it says here, Chris Hemsworth told GQ Wakanda Forever was really cool. He didn't see Quantumania. but he saw enough marketing to wonder why Marvel turned the relatively small Ant-Man franchise into a huge space event. That's some tea. That's the trick. You have to separate all the stories. Hemsworth said, the moment it's like your world is in danger, the entire universe. It's like, yeah, it was the last 24 movies, the last 24 films. It has to become a bit more personal and grounded. Okay, this is where Chris Hemsworth is becoming, he's becoming critical of the storylines that's been happening. Hemsworth also addressed criticisms of Marvel made by the top filmmakers such as Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Martin Scorsese has hit out against Marvel for negatively impacting exhibition, while Tarantino said last November that Marvel is incapable of generating movie stars. Child. It says here, part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is you have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters, Tarantino said. On the Two Bears One Cave podcast, they're not movie stars, right? Captain America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think that's been said a zillion times, but it's like, it's these franchise characters that becomes the star. And I don't disagree with that. I honestly don't disagree with that. But, and then this is Chris Hemsworth's quote. It says here, that's super depressing when I hear that. Hemsworth said about Tarantino and Scorsese. That goes two of my heroes I won't work with. I guess they're not a fan of me. So he says here, I'm thankful for that I have been part of something that kept people in cinemas. Now, whether or not those films were meant to be a determinant of other films, I don't know. I don't love when we start scrutinizing each other when there's so much more fragility in the business and in this space of arts as it is. I say that less to the directors who made those comments, who are all, by the way, still my heroes. But in a heartbeat, I will lead to work with any of them. But I say it more to the broader opinion around that topic. I don't think any of us have the answer, but we're trying. Okay. Let me get to I want to talk about it in order. So Chris Hemsworth's thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder, things like that. I think that Chris Hemsworth, and I said it before in a previous video I did about him. He's starting to see the writing on the wall. He's starting to see what the hell is going on. Chris Hemsworth understands that Thor: Love and Thunder was god awful. It was god awful. The storyline was god awful. The cinematography was god awful. The way they just, like, the way Taika Waititi undermined Thor. And honestly, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it in Thor Ragnarok too, because I feel like, yeah, a lot of y'all are still not trying to see that Thor Ragnarok was really the start of Thor being a freaking dummy. But like Thor: Love and Thunder really, really, like, whoa, like y'all really took Thor, the character of Thor, and threw him in the clown college and brought him out, because it was so disrespectful how y'all did him like that. And especially to Chris Hemsworth, because I feel like Chris Hemsworth is a very talented actor. I feel like he doesn't get enough props for his acting. Because I feel like if you give Chris Hemsworth a script, he's going to act his ass off. He's going to do that for you. And I think that, Chris Hemsworth, he's been quiet for a long time. He's been, eating shit from Taika Waititi, especially. And he's just like, yo, especially after, I think that the criticism for Thor: Love and Thunder was big enough to the point where it got to him. And he was like, you know what? We need a change. We need a change. I personally believe that Taika Waititi is not going to be a part of the next Thor movie. Whenever that comes about. Because I think that he's out. I think that Marvel is going to replace him. Chris Hemsworth has enough stroke. He has enough power to be like, I think that we need to go into a different direction. And I think that we need to do that without Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is too much of a clown. He's too much of a clown. He's too much of a fucking, like, I don't know. He gives me like satire tease. I don't know what the hell he's going on. Like, And I like satire, but it's like he goes overboard with it. Like it's too much. It's too much. Like we need seriousness. We need grunt, you know? Especially coming from Thor. Thor is a powerful character. Like you can't I'm sorry, you would think that it's night and day with like the Thor in Infinity War and the Thor in Ragnarok and in Love and Thunder. Okay? And honestly, and there's no shade. I never liked Natalie Portman. And I know I said this before, but it's like I never liked Natalie Portman's character. I didn't like Jane. I'm sorry. Like, y'all might as well make Thor single or something. Because it's like that whole Jane thing and Thor. Maybe it's just Natalie Portman. I just don't. They just don't have any chemistry. They do not have any chemistry. So I think, Thor is. I mean, Chris Hemsworth is seeing what the girls are saying. And it's honestly it's in his own backyard too, because his kids are even telling him that the shit is trash. So I think that Chris Evans is gonna have a talk with the Disney CEOs, the top people, and he's gonna be like, listen, we got, either you get Taika Waititi out or I'm gone, and we don't know what Disney's gonna do with that, because they're not gonna about to lose one of their top guys to a Taika Waititi. You better be you must be out of your goddamn mind. So yeah, I'm happy that Chris Hemsworth is speaking out. And he said it. He's like, listen, Thor: Love and Thunder was a bit too silly. It was dumb as fuck. And in a way, it seems like he's kind of apologizing for the movie being trash. He's apologizing to the public, and honestly, it's not his fault if we're gonna think about it. Like, it's definitely not his fault. He wasn't the one that wrote the scripts. He's not the one that produced. Like, he's just the actor. So and he was just following through what people were telling him to do. So the blame definitely lies on Taika Waititi and the writers. Like, y'all need to get rid of them and bring some new people in. Now I want to go up to what he had to say when it came to Ant-Man and the Ant-Man movie that just came out. Let me tell you something. And Chris Hemsworth is right when he said that, first of all, Ant-Man is not even supposed to be like us, like one of like an Avengers type of kind of film. Keep it grounded. Keep it personal. Like, Ant-Man is not that much of an important character to have like a blockbuster kind of feel to it. Okay? So the fact that y'all guys even brought it to that level, it was already a lot of high expectations. And when it failed, it was just like, okay, well, where do we go from here? And on top of that, y'all gonna go through some things with this whole Kang story, because Jonathan Majors is going through legal troubles. So I don't know what y'all have to do. I don't know who y'all gonna have to. I don't know. There's a lot going. There's a lot gonna. There's gonna be some tough times ahead for Marvel. There's gonna be some tough times ahead, and we'll see where it goes. When the Kang the Dynasty movie comes out, but as of right now, they got some. But the bumps were already here with Ant-Man and Thor: Love and Thunder, but it's about to be more to come if they don't get their shit together. And I'm glad that Chris Hemsworth also called that out. When he called that out. And lastly, I want to discuss him talking about Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Let me just say this. I agree with a lot of what Martin Scorsese had to say, particularly Quentin Tarantino. I agree with what he has to say too, but it's like with him is like, I don't know. Quentin Tarantino as a person, he's very, very shady, and I feel like Quentin Tarantino, and it's a whole other conversation with him, I feel like, and what he has done to a lot of people in the industry, but that's a whole nother topic. But I agree with what Quentin Tarantino had to say when it came to like, listen, like, Thor is the star, Captain America is the star, not Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans. I get where he's going with that. Like, I get it. It is true. It is true. But I also don't think, but two things can be true at the same time, It can be a situation where it's like, oh my God, Captain America, oh my God, Thor. But it can also be like, because let's be very clear, everybody knows Chris Hemsworth. When we hear Chris Hemsworth, we know we know how he looks like, we know how he presents, like, we know him. So, the same thing with Chris Evans. We all know Chris Evans. So I do think that while Thor and Captain America are household names, so is Chris Evans. So is Chris Hemsworth. I don't think that that's it. I feel like it was a low blow to those actors, you know. And I think that Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans have built in enough work for them to be considered household names, and they are household names. And for Martin Scorsese, you know, I remember at the time he came out and said that, you know, this, you know, Marvel and all that stuff, you know, theme park films. That's what he called them, theme park films. And in a way, he's right. You know, I think that had he said it now, it would be more popular to say now. But I think at the time when Martin Scorsese said it, people were so angry with him because it was like, I think it was like during the backs of like Infinity War and listen, when Infinity War and Endgame around those eras, like we were all like everybody's all Marvel, like we were all on that high. So it was like when Scorsese came out and said that, it was kind of like, whoa, do not rain on our parade. But I think that if Martin Scorsese were to come out right now and say, you know, Marvel's theme park films, everybody would agree because right now the shit is terrible. The shit is terrible. It's god awful with what Marvel is producing. So I think that, you know, Chris Hemsworth, I feel like Chris Hemsworth is hurt. He's hurt by what they had to say, you know, what Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese had to say, because I think that he genuinely, because he's a fan of them. Like they, you know, Scorsese, and, you know, as much as I don't like Quentin Tarantino personally, but like he's a great filmmaker. And I think that, you know, Chris Hemsworth feels like, you know, now they probably don't want to work with him because he's quote unquote a theme park actor. Or like he's Thor, like he's not like he can't be like, you know, like a true actor. Like I guess you could say like a, you know what I mean? Like how Martin Scorsese would look at it. And I think that, you know, Chris Hemsworth feels hurt. You know, he feels some type of way. But I don't think that, you know, he should really feel like that should undermine him or undermine his acting abilities. Because I think that Chris Hemsworth is a great actor. I do. I think that he's a great actor. I think that he is beautiful and handsome and like movie star worthy. Stop playing with him. Chris Hemsworth is everything. Okay? So I think that if Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino were to have like a meeting with Chris Hemsworth or something, they will like him and they'll put him in his film because like as he should. Like Chris Hemsworth is everything. Like that's a fine man right there. Like but yeah. So that, listen, you know, Chris Hemsworth got a lot out of his chest in this interview, and you know, he said it in a very like, in a way, it was kind of passive aggressive with the Thor: Love and Thunder stuff. It was like the shit was ass, but you know, this is what had to be, you know. So I think that he's definitely placing Easter egg, but he got, you know, he got some things off his chest, and I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he's listening to the fan. That's the thing too. I love when these actors, you know, these people in entertainment, they listen to their fans and they listen to what the fans want, what they're saying, and I'm glad that, you know, Chris Hemsworth has his ear on the streets. You know, he has it on the streets, and I'm happy for him. So I hope, you know, Chris Hemsworth continues to keep going, get these other projects, do some other acting gigs, you know. And if you want to come back for Thor: Love and Thunder, which I hope you do, you know, we get different directors, different writers, and, you know, we can get into some things. And listen, I always support Chris Hemsworth. I love Chris Hemsworth. I think that he's a nice human being, you know, not that I know him personally, but still. But yeah, but tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you guys feel about Chris Hemsworth's interview? How do you guys feel about his comments on Thor: Love and Thunder, on Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, and on Ant-Man and the Quantum Medium bullshit movie? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, y'all. Subscribe. Okay? Let's get up to 500 subscribers, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.